Your body is a literal map of the zodiac. From the top of your head to the soles of your feet, every sign rules a different part of your physical experience. Most people know their sun, moon, rising signs, even their Venus and their Mars. But what about the sign that rules your head, your lungs, your digestion, your circulation, or your feet? Medical astrology shows us the cosmic blueprint of the human body. And once you understand it, your wellness starts to make sense. So, in this video, I will be discussing and detailing all of the zodiac signs and their corresponding physical body parts. So, if you want to know more, stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. So, welcome to week 2 of my 31-day wellness and astrology series. So, last week during week 1, we discussed the foundations. And this week, I like to call it the body speaks because this is the week where we get into a little more technical information and discuss the varying planets and the corresponding physical experiences. And of course, today we're diving into the basics of medical astrology, specifically the Aries to Pisces body map, a system thousands of years old. So, whether you are today years old when you're finding this out, or this is more of a refresher, every zodiac sign rules a different part of the body. So, as a general overview, and I will be getting into more specifics later on in the video, Aries rules the head, Taurus rules the throat and neck, Gemini rules the arms and lungs, Cancer rules chest and stomach, Leo, heart and upper back, Virgo, digestion and intestines, Libra, kidneys and lower back, Scorpio, reproductive system. No surprise there. Sagittarius, hips and thighs. Capricorn, bones and knees. Aquarius, ankles and circulation. And finally, Pisces, feet and lymphatic system. So this isn't about diagnosis. This isn't about trying to triage certain issues, at least not in this video. It's more so about energy patterns and how stress, emotion, and imbalance show up physically. So much like we talked about last week with your emotions, right? And even yesterday's video about astrology for self-care, how to use the planets in your natal chart to craft your own customized self-care ritual. The medical astrology generally, it's about understanding how your body works, not just physically, but sort of spiritually. Especially if you're on this spiritual journey, you'll know one of the most widely quoted universal laws is as above, so below. That is known as the law of correspondence. And so the way that our bodies work, how our bodies function, are really a reflection of what's going on in the cosmos. And that's why there is this relationship between the signs of the zodiac and the physical parts of the body. So to begin, let's discuss why this matters and the deeper issue. So your body reflects the energy of your chart. When a zodiac sign in your chart is overwhelmed, ignored, or activated, its corresponding body area often speaks up first. So this means that headaches aren't random, stomach issues aren't random, tension isn't random, lower back pain isn't random, emotional heaviness isn't random. The Aries to Pisces body map helps you understand where your stress goes, what part of your body reacts first, how to support yourself holistically, why certain symptoms repeat themselves, and your body's unique energetic language. Once you understand the zodiac map, your body starts making sense. Now it's interesting because when I first discovered this information years ago, at first I was kind of like, okay, I kind of get it. But, my stomach hurts because I overate. My back hurts because I overexerted myself, or I have an injury that is, flaring up again. There's this very sort of knee-jerk reaction when it comes to physical ailments to think about, okay, what did I do physically? What did I do externally? And you're not wrong in doing so. But the one thing that I love about astrology is that it guides you to look at things deeper on a deeper level. So to use the example I just mentioned before, my stomach hurts because I overate. Well, why did I overeat? Oh, because there is a stellium in Virgo. There's a pileup of planets in Virgo, which rules the digestive system, and Virgo is my 6th house of health. Or there's a transit that is activating Virgo in my chart. Now, don't get me wrong, and if this is your first time hearing this, or this is still information that's new to you, there is a very natural reaction to this that could be like, wow, this really sounds like some bullshit. Or this is a little spiritual, or it's a little too woo-woo. And I get it, because trust me, I was there once too. However, when you take a deeper look at this, especially if you've been watching my videos over a certain period of time, you'll realize that it's not that astrology just explains away everything. Astrology just gives you a deeper meaning to what you're already understanding. So like I said, I have a stomach ache because I overate. However, I'm overeating because of this planetary alignment or this transit that's activating this part of my chart. So it's not just this random, oh, I overate. Understanding why you're overeating not only helps you in the moment, but can help you going forward. Because now if you realize that, okay, whenever there's a stellium in Virgo or during Virgo season, my stomach tends to be a little more sensitive. Now you know going forward not to overeat during that time, right? One of my favorite phrases is when you know better, you do better. And astrology helps you do just that. Okay. So when you understand how the different planetary energies, how the different, zodiacal energies, because we're talking about the zodiac signs here, how they correspond to your body, now you're able to not only understand, but remedy the symptoms that you're feeling and be proactive about actions you're going to take in the future. So now let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video, which is the Aries to Pisces body map. So I'm going to explain this and enumerate it in detail. Okay, so first is Aries, and Aries rules the head. So this could be headaches, migraines, eye strain, and tension. Now I'm getting ahead of myself, but eye strain could also be an Aquarius thing, and I'll get into that later in the video. But Aries rules fire. Okay, Aries is a fire sign, so pressure builds fast. So those tension, headaches, I would dare even say fever, are very much the realm of Aries and the head. Next, we have Taurus, which is the throat and the neck. So this rules your voice, your thyroid. There could be swallowing issues, neck tension. So here, stress shows up as tightness or even losing your voice, even sore throats, anything having to do with the throat, that would be the realm of Taurus. Thereafter, we've got Gemini. Gemini rules the arms, hands, and lungs, breathing patterns, anxiety in the chest, restlessness even, which is very much part of the Gemini energy signature. So Gemini equals the nervous system and the breath. So when you're experiencing respiratory issues, anxiety, panic attacks, that could be indicative of Gemini energy. Next up, we've got Cancer. Cancer rules the chest and the stomach, and in women, breasts, right? So this could be digestion, appetite, emotional eating, stomach sensitivity, soreness in the breasts, and things like that. Cancer has a lot to do with stored emotion. And so if you're experiencing stomach issues, chest tightness even, that could fall within the realm of Cancer. Next up, we've got Leo. Leo rules the heart and the upper back. So this is heart energy, circulation, chest tension. On a more emotional health tip, that could be confidence even. Leo has a lot to do with vitality and courage. So your physical vitality, remember, Leo is ruled by the sun. So there's this energy of shining and vital energy and courage, right? Next, we've got Virgo. Virgo rules the digestive system, gut health, intestines, worry, stress, digestion, upset tummy, bubble guts, things like that, very much within the realm of Virgo, because Virgo is the body's processor. So everything that you ingest clearly ends up in the intestines. And if there's an issue there, that definitely speaks to Virgo energy. Next, we come to Libra, which rules the kidneys and the lower back. So lower back pain, hydration issues, imbalance, kidney infections, things like that. That's within the realm of Libra, especially because Libra represents harmony and physical equilibrium. Okay. Next, we've got Scorpio, which is the reproductive system, hormones, cycles, deep emotional processing. So Scorpio equals transformation through the body. And there's nothing more transformative than the reproductive cycle or the reproductive system. Next, we have Sagittarius, which rules the hips and thighs, sciatica, muscle tension, overextension. And I love this correlation because Sagittarius equates to freedom and movement. And if you've got tightness in your hips, in your thighs, movement becomes very difficult. I mean, think of the symbolism for Sagittarius. It is a centaur, right? Half man, half horse. Horses love to gallop. And so that correlation between Sagittarius, the hips and the thighs is very fitting, in my opinion. Next, we move to Capricorn, which rules the bones, the joints, and the knees. Stability, long-term stress, structural pressure. The skeletal system is ruled by Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign of structure, so it makes sense that it would rule your skeletal system. And Capricorn equates to carrying weight, right? That's why your structural integrity is always important, because if you have weak or brittle bones, you can't sustain anything. You can't hold anything up. And that's definitely the realm of Capricorn. Next, we move to Aquarius. Now, Aquarius rules circulation and ankles, but it also rules the cones of the eyes. And I always thought that this was super interesting because Aquarius is the sign of the future. And the fact that it rules the cones of the eyes that allow you to see forward is very fitting. And it's one of those things that sort of make me geek out about astrology, right? But back to Aquarius. Circulatory flow, energy spikes, numbness, weakness in your ankles, instability standing up, right? Aquarius equates to electricity in the body, all right? That's why it is associated with circulation. And then finally, we arrive at Pisces, which rules the feet and lymphatic system. So exhaustion, swelling, energetic absorption, issues with your feet, soreness in your feet, that falls within the realm of Pisces. And it's interesting because Pisces is where energy drains or dissolves, which is why it is associated with your lymphatic system. So as you can see, I remember when I started learning about medical astrology, it made me feel like I was back in biology class, right? And learning about the different systems of the body. And the fact that every system and certain body parts are associated with the zodiac signs is it's just like chef's kiss for me as an astrology enthusiast. But I love how everything correlates. So it bears mentioning that you should probably take some time to really digest this information, pun intended, and understand how it shows up in your physical body. I definitely think that's a worthwhile activity. So, of course, we must talk about the shadow side to all of this and why this matters for wellness. When you don't listen to your body, your chart speaks louder. So every sign has a physical shadow. Aries, headaches from pressure. Taurus, tension from holding too much and not speaking up. Gemini, shallow breath from anxiety. Cancer, stomach issues from emotional suppression. Leo, heart heaviness from pride or hurt. Virgo, gut sensitivity from overthinking. Libra, back pain from imbalance. Scorpio, reproductive tension from emotional intensity. Sagittarius, injuries from doing too much. Capricorn, joint pain from shouldering too much responsibility. Aquarius, nervous system spikes from chaos. And Pisces, exhaustion from absorbing emotion and not releasing it. So your symptoms are not random. And I think I mentioned this in almost every video. There's nothing that's random, truly. But your symptoms aren't random. They are messages. And those messages can literally direct you to your chart to see what is going on. Because remember, physical ailments are really the symptoms of a spiritual imbalance or a spiritual misalignment. And your natal chart and even the transits to your natal chart can definitely help you decipher it all. So here's a wellness tip that I like to entitle Your Zodiac Aligned Body Reset. So this is a simple daily ritual based on the body map. So essentially whatever's ailing you right now, this is a ritual sort of based on that. So head, which is Aries, of course, release tension. So that could be via a scalp massage or forehead tapping. One of the things I like to do when I have a serious headache, I'll take either a warm or a cold compress. Like I'll get a washcloth and, soak it in water, either warm or cold, depending on how I'm feeling, and just put that on my head, lay down in a dark room. That always seems to help me. Now, throat, which is Taurus, humming, warm drinks, speaking your truth, just saying. Lungs, Gemini, deep breathing and fresh air. Now, when it comes to Cancer, which rules the chest and the stomach, slow meals, warm food, and an emotional check-in if necessary. When it comes to Leo, which rules the heart, chest opening stretch. So literally stretch out your chest, which could definitely help with that. Now, if you're experiencing chest pain or chest tightness, definitely seek professional medical assistance, right? But if you're just, feeling some kind of discomfort there, start with a chest opening stretch. Moving on to Virgo, which rules the gut, supportive foods, slow mornings, and paying attention to what you are ingesting, whether that be via food or even via information or even emotions. Next up, we've got Libra, which rules the lower back, gentle stretching and trying to find some balance, which means maybe you'll have to eliminate something, add some things, but finding balance, doing some stretching should perhaps do the trick. Moving on to Scorpio, which rules the reproductive system, grounding practices will be your friend here. Sagittarius, which rules the hips, hip opening movement. Capricorn, which rules the knees, slow strengthening plus rest. You may also want to delegate or divest yourself of some of the responsibilities that you're carrying if you can. Aquarius, which rules circulation, movement every hour. And then finally, the feet, which is ruled by Pisces, warm baths, grounding, and salt soaks. So these small rituals prevent energy from getting stuck. Stuck energy is, especially when there's a buildup of stuck energy, is when you start to experience chronic physical ailments or even compounding physical ailments. So these type of little rituals done regularly when you start to feel some kind of discomfort can help dispel a buildup, an energetic buildup that could be a more serious problem later on. So I wanted to give some personal examples to sort of drive this point home. But before I give the examples, I wanted to just mention something else briefly. Let's say that you have a stellium in your natal chart, meaning that you have 3 or more planets in one sign. You may find that that body part or that body system is overactive, or you kind of have issues there. For instance, like boilerplate, I've seen people's charts that have a Virgo stellium that constantly have tummy issues, IBS, things like that. I have a stellium in Libra, and Libra rules the kidneys and the lower back. And at several times in my life, I have had slight kidney issues and have had severe back pain. All right. So that's something to keep in mind when you look at your natal chart. But one of the examples, and this is something that actually I discovered last year. So Aries is my 12th house, which is my house of rest. And knowing what I know now on my spiritual journey about how Aries is the real new year, I feel like every Aries season I try to do the most. So I'm always trying to start new things, start the real new year off with a bang. And invariably, I always suffer from headaches around that time, specifically during Aries season. And it reminds me that for me, Aries season is a time for rest because Aries is my 12th house. And when it comes to Aries season, to avoid headaches, I need to rest more, to literally sleep more. And this is something it's like when I thought about it, this is something that has occurred like clockwork over the last couple of years, especially since I've really developed Divine Feminine Works. So that's sort of an example to help illustrate these points. The other thing I'll mention here is that just like everything else, you can delineate more information from this. So looking at your chart, let's say that you have, let's talk about Taurus ruling the throat. Venus in Taurus could indicate voice issues, especially if you sing, if you speak a lot, right? So looking at the sign and looking at the planets that are in that sign in your natal house can even give you further information as to perhaps what's going on with you physically right now or what you're predisposed to experiencing physically. So that's also a worthwhile endeavor to look to see what planets do you have in like Taurus or Gemini or Capricorn and how it affects your throat, your lungs, or your knees, right? All of this stuff is super interesting, but more importantly, using this information to feel your best and to help remedy any ailments that you have is always the best use of this information. And if this is something that really intrigues you, I'm going to leave the link to one of my favorite books on the subject in the description box below. It's called Body Astrology, and it really enumerates all of this in great detail. And if you want to know how this affects your particular natal chart, especially if you have chronic illnesses or if you just want to understand your body better, this is definitely something that we can and will discuss in my signature natal chart experience, the blueprint. So this is where you have a private natal chart reading, you get access to resources via your own private client portal, plus you get a 30-day alignment map, which helps you understand the 30 days post reading and what's going to happen and what to anticipate. So essentially, this is a natal chart reading plus a transit reading in one. So if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. And also don't forget to take my fun little self-care signature quiz, which can help you understand your self-care signature much better. The link for that will be in the description box below as well. All right, my loves, thank you so much for tuning into this video. Stay tuned for more videos this week, specifically on the planets, the signs, and how they correspond to your physical body. All right, my loves, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.